We've got an earnings alert on Square. It's getting slammed in the after hours. Bosa is in San Francisco with more. Deirdre.
Melissa, this is a stock that's up more than 40% year to date, so expectations were sky high and investors focusing on that mixed outlook. But the story here remains largely intact. Subscription and services revenue grew by triple digits for a second straight quarter, and the company continues to expand its addressable market by going after traditional banking services. Jack Dorsey on the call says the Cash App continues to grow the ecosystem.
I think the biggest driver is really going to be how the network is spreading and just the inherent network effects that it has as a business. And as we add more utility and more financial services, such as the card or stored balance or instant deposit, ATM, it just becomes a much, much more durable relationship.
Dorsey also mentioned that Square card is one of the things that he is most excited about this year. It's a free business debit card that is connected to a merchant Square balance. He said that it's helping people see the power of Square's ecosystem. And funny enough, that was on display on the call. Shortly after he said this, a Square merchant asked Dorsey what other services are coming that will allow her to transition from her traditional banking system completely over to the infrastructure that Square is building. Thought that was really interesting. Remember, Melissa, that Square has applied for a banking license. There was no update, but Dorsey said that they're still in discussions.
So on this earnings call, there are just Square merchants, people who use Square services?
Yeah, I got to say, it's one of the best parts of the call because you actually get a sense of how merchants are using the services. And over time, over quarters, you see them ask questions about the different services and subscriptions that Square is offering.
Right. All right, Deirdre. Thank you, Deirdre Bosa in San Francisco. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like they're hand-selected to showcase Square's services. Anyway, despite tonight's sell-off, Square has run circles around the other payment stocks over the last few years. The stock now is up nearly 800% from its IPO. We go to you, Grasso. You've been in and out.
Yeah, so I'm in the stock, and let's remember, a couple of months ago it was trading at $50. This is a bargain. I think that you'll see this stock back to 80 in short order. It's about services. It's not about payments. It's about services, and that's where the people get it wrong.
So there's some concerns also just that Google's going to enter the fray and actually begin to consolidate both direct and indirect. So merchants, restaurants directly, and then third-party deliveries and whatnot. And this is something that's also been knocking the stock around. I'm long the stock as well. I believe in the infrastructure. I believe in the payments. I believe in the entire ecosystem that they're building, the value added. It's hard for me to say value, though. You know, I mean, it's hard to me. The stock is very
Maybe Google
expensive.
takes them. Maybe Google takes them out.
Maybe.
Elsewhere in the world of Jack Dorsey, shares of Twitter down about 8% in the past month, getting ghosted by Snap, which is going parabolic. It's up more than 50% in the past month. Twitter CFO Ned Siegel reiterating the company's expectations of a 20% expense increase this year yesterday. So here's the ultimate game of would you rather here. At a very critical moment in time where Twitter says it's going to spend to grow, et cetera, et cetera. It's got problems with its platform, policing content. And Snap, which reported earnings and sort of gave you a good but muted idea of what growth is going to be like. Would you rather Snap or Twitter?
Would you rather? I would rather Twitter. And it's consistent with where I've been all along. So there's nothing new here. I struggle with Snap's ability to grow outside of some short covering. And to me, the fact that the bar was so low in terms of their user metrics, they're changing their user metrics, et cetera, et cetera. I realize Twitter is not a sexy growth story, but I'm encouraged by the consistency in the double-digit DAU growth or whatever they want us to follow, and the fact that their ad revenues are growing kind of north of 30%.
I'm more on the ad growth side because I think they've slowed down to the point where it seems like they got what they've got in terms of daily active users, monthly active users. Maybe they grow a little bit there, but it's about the advertising. And I think going into this presidential campaign over the next year and a half, 2 years, they are in a great spot. Meanwhile, I look at Snap and I say to myself, you know what? Other than short covering, why is that stock even higher than it was? Guy Adami.
Yes, Guy.
You usually ask the question, so in class we used to have to raise our hand.
And I picked
you don't
you out.
blurt out, and Pete picked me out.
Yeah.
I'll give you the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I think the missteps of Facebook is one of the reasons that Snap has gone from 6 to 10, because Facebook can't obliterate them. But once Facebook gets back on terra firma, which I don't know when that's going to be, I think Snap heads right back down to $6 a share.